Games are something interesting. You see, as time passes, some titles will rise while others will fall, and even if some never really change, they are still able to remain king. Example of this would be Call of Duty. But today we are here to talk about a game that in recent times has found itself struggling to perform and live up to the success of its predecessors. Today, we talk about Need for Speed Payback. Let me just start by saying this. Oh, Need for Speed. There used to be a time when you were the undisputed king of all racing games, or at least you were to me. But in recent times, your games seem to be falling shorter and shorter of past successes. So the question I have for you is, does Need for Speed Payback continue this trend, or does it rise up to meet the success of past games? To which the answer is, maybe? To understand this answer, we're going to have to talk about the things that Need for Speed did right and what it did oh so very wrong. So if we're going to start somewhere, let's simply take the face value of the game itself at launch. Quality. The game was complete. Unlike certain other racing games, Forza, it came out with very little glitches, if not any, and I myself never experienced any of these, nor did I ever experience any crashes. EA released a polished games. Most of the issues that you will find in Need for Speed originate from game design decisions, which we will talk about later. So let's talk about what it does right. This can be boiled down into three things: the campaign, the car customization, and the driving. You see, Need for Speed Payback decided to have a campaign. Now this doesn't sound like much, but when you take the time to compare it to every other racing game out there, which all elected to have a career mode instead, it starts to stand out. While the story is easy to predict, it is engaging. And while it may not be complicated, it is fun. The characters that it features provide enough banter to keep a smile going. My only bone to pick here is that I wish they had more missions for Jess, as they were a break of pace from any other racing game I've had and were truly the most fun I had playing this game. While the campaign may sound appetizing, Need for Speed really hits its stride when you look at its car customization. While the car list in this game may not be the largest, what you are able to do to those cars is up to the player's imagination. Payback offers players all the tools they could ever want and only limits them with their own creativity. This is something that Need for Speed Payback does better than any other game out there, and not just by a little bit, by a long shot. Lastly, we need to talk about driving. Now, many people may disagree with the idea that Need for Speed's driving is one of its strengths, but I think it is, and let me tell you why. It's different. While every other game out there strives to be as simulation accurate as possible, Need for Speed doesn't waste time with that. It knows what it is and it knows what it wants to be. It wants to be an arcadey game, and so the driving fits it. And it is fun. It takes a bit of getting used to, but it is fun and it is challenging as well. And it provides its own experience that works within the game. And for that, I can only praise the game for knowing what it is and knowing how to focus on it. So we've talked about the good, but now it's time to talk about the bad. And the bad is the reason why I can't find myself saying that Need for Speed is a great game. It is decent at best, because the bad is so very much present. It's not plagued by bugs or issues, it is plagued by fundamental design decisions and lack of content in specific areas. The first thing that I would like to address is the upgrade system and the microtransaction system. Now, you have to understand that the reason why I place these two together is because they are fundamentally intertwined as a gameplay mechanic. And while the game has received the recent updates to make it less pay to win and less grindy, I will be referring to the game at its launch state. The pay to win mechanic in this game, or upgrade system, is a grind to say the least. It takes hours and hours to upgrade a car to its fullest. The only way to do this is either through purchasing shipment crates with your credit card or spending hours with your vehicle trying to get parts tokens or the parts you want. As dealerships which offer parts will only refresh every certain amount of time, limiting how much progress you can make with regards to your upgrades, forcing you to spend that money. Now, I understand that a gaming company wants to make their game profitable, and I am okay with a microtransaction system, but when that interrupts the flow of a game, for example, me wanting to build a new car for Jess took me 4 hours to grind because I was not willing to pay. That completely destroyed the campaign experience for me in Need for Speed, and I find it a shame that this entire section of the game affects everything else. If this was better managed, it would have made the campaign experience more enjoyable. It would make the customization experience more enjoyable. I find this to be a true shame. Unfortunately, I think this isn't the only design decision that Ghost Games made that seemed to affect the game in a negative manner. Now, I don't know if this was intentionally designed or if they lacked time in their development cycle, but the multiplayer at launch, and still in its current state, is completely unacceptable. And the reason why I say this is they provide you with an incredibly open world that you can have so much fun with in single player, and yet at launch the multiplayer did not release with any free roam, and the multiplayer system it did offer was not balanced. I showed up in my Golf GTI while other people showed up in their Lamborghinis fully decked out. I'll let you assume who won in that situation. The current free roam that they've recently released is plagued with its own problems, and I will be addressing it in a video later on this week. So let's finish this video with the same question that started it. Does Need for Speed Payback continue a downward trend, or does it recapture the greatness of the title it once had? The answer is neither. While the game does have its strengths, it is plagued by bad design decisions, and while I want Need for Speed to return to its former glory, I cannot give it a free pass. The sad conclusion of this video is the same one that I found in my Forza 7 video. Forza Horizon 3, a game that came out over a year ago, is a better game. I want to see a good Need for Speed game, and I want to see it in the future, because unfortunately, it isn't here right now. Well guys, this marks the end of the video, and I want to take the opportunity to start a conversation here. What do you think Need for Speed got right, and what do you think it got wrong? And what did I get wrong? I also want to know what you think they could do in the future to make better games, or just improve on the one that's already out there. That's going to be it for today's video, and until next time, be safe and have fun.